Hey everyone, this is Mike. Today I'm going to be doing the Beelzebub raid guide for closers, aka the BB raid. This is a new piece of content that came out on the Western server for closer. It is the first 12-man raid that is available in the game as well. But it's actually a lot simpler than you think it might be. So we basically have two main sections to the area that you guess you could say. On the left side over here we have the sides, as they are called. These are basically all soloable. And then on the right side over here we have the raid finder. Now as you can see, I already have my reward from today, or actually from yesterday, because this raid is not available every day. It's only available 4 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday is when the raid will be available. So you don't even have to do the raid itself every single week. The way it works is you basically get your gear from the sides. You also get the Transcendence gear from the sides as well. So basically you don't even have to touch the raid part of this if you want to finish gearing up everything. Like for example, I've only cleared the raid once completely, because on day 1 it was a mess with disconnecting and stuff like that. So basically got nothing from the raid, but I do have a fully transcended module right now. I was lucky enough to have a lot of elixirs saved up back from purification days. I spent over 100, I think I took maybe like 120 tries or something to get this to tier 5. So getting it all the way like transcended up is gonna take a very long time, and I don't have any transcendent elixirs left for the second one that I'll ever have to do at some point. So it's gonna take a while to get these. Now these mods will drop from the bosses, so if you take a look at the overview right here, we basically have 3 different mini bosses. So this is the big mini boss. Of course, assault will give you better rewards, or a higher drop rate at least, to getting these modules and these cores. And then we have the sides that basically give you the entry items that you need, as you can see right here, Fly King's Wish. That is basically what you need to enter in these 3 bosses. The 3 mini bosses that you're going to be fighting here will also be inside the raid itself, but they're going to be a lot harder inside the raid. Veins especially is really annoying for characters that have forced ground, like on Luna for example. Because there's a lot of platforming and jumping involved in this part of the raid. So if you're somebody that has forced ground, beware with this. See which abilities you can use and can't use, because otherwise you're just gonna die 4 times, and then it's game over for you. And the more you die, the less points you will get, which is really bad as well. So when we do get our stuff from the sites, let's say for example you're really unlucky, you can scroll all the way down here. And you can also craft the modules and the core if you want to. Now this is the material that you get from doing the sides. This is the material that you get from doing the side bosses. You also get this from doing the raid itself. You get, I believe it's 3 if I'm not mistaken. So basically you do want to do the raid if you want to speed it up, but if you really don't want to touch the raid, it's possible to gear up without doing it. The only thing that comes from the raid and the raid alone are these modules that you see right here. Now, because the first time I did the raid I had a very shit run, we got the worst possible rating possible. I got a white trigger, but then yesterday when we got the maximum rating possible, we got SS. I got this trigger, which is one of the trigger sets that I can go for. So as you can see, these are all of the different triggers that are available for dropping, and then of course if you're unlucky with your drops, you can just craft the triggers that you need. Now of course these things, these are gotten from, if I'm not mistaken, salvaging these things. So I'm actually gonna salvage one of these to see that. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Over here, salvage, bam, there we go. Holy Grail flying knives, and this is also trigger combustion. For if you like running triggers, doing the side dungeons will grant you these 2 materials, and these can be used as trigger fuel. Those are only there for trigger fuel. So you'll definitely be wanting to do those. So the thing I just got can be used on this, and these will give you the triggers that you basically want to get here. So for example, this one gives me one of the 3 possible triggers. So if I have 20 shit triggers, I can craft one of these, and then I have a chance at getting the right one, of course. Most likely if you dismantle one of these big ones, you'll get this one, for example. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't dismantled those yet, but I guess that would be how it would work. For the transcending section, we basically only have 2 things to transcend, which is our modules and our core. These 5 are for the core, these 5 are for the modules, and then the transcending works exactly the same as it would in purification. So you just put it in here, You have your different like preservatives here if you want. You still have your old boosters as well, so if you still have some lying around, some accelerants from purification, you can use those. And then of course you can go all the way to the back here, and you can see that we have access to these new Transcendal stones right there. And then of course if you just put it in, it also automatically goes to the right one now, so you don't even have to like go through the list to find the right one anymore, which is really good. So that's how that works. Now from the raid itself as well, there is a very small chance that you're going to be dropping trinkets. Now these trinkets are a very slight upgrade to the Hoffman trinkets, these 3 that we have right here already. So if you want to get them, it is possible, but again it is a really low drop chance, so I wouldn't really pursue them, I guess you could say. If they drop and you get them, it's nice, but don't just do it for these trinkets, because the trinkets are a very small upgrade, meaning that if you already have like chipped Wolfgang trinkets or something like that, you can just stick to them, because these trinkets are only a very slight upgrade. So basically what we're going to be doing with this one is we're going to get a new core. Of course, as I said, if you already have a plus 15 core or something like that, and you have a good awakening on it, like I do on Luna, then you definitely don't want to swap it out. But if you can get like it to plus 17 or something, then it might be a damage upgrade. I'm not 100% sure on the math. And then of course we also have 2 new modules that we can get, as well as a full set of triggers. That is mainly what we're going to be after. Now for the raid section itself, I've got a little picture of how it works right here. So you basically divide yourself in 3 teams of 4. Now it is possible to do this with less people. For example, yesterday we did it with 2 teams of 4. It just means that you have more work for you. The way it works is you need 1 team to do veins. If 1 team of 4 finishes veins, that is enough. You need 3 teams to do the back, and you need 2 teams to do the hand. So the way it works is you have 1 team do veins and back, then you have the other 2 teams do back and hands, and then once everybody did their 2 runs, the middle opens up because all these 3 things will be dead, and then you can just fight the boss in the middle. Of course, since we ran it with only 2 teams, it meant that 1 team did veins, and then we did back twice, and the other team did hands twice, and then the back once. Because you do need all of the runs, and then our team did the core once, and then the other team did the core twice because they finished before us. So if you're running it with less teams, it means that you basically have to divide yourself a little bit more. Just remember, veins needs to be cleared once, back needs to be cleared 3 times, and hands needs to be cleared twice. For the middle to open, and then when the middle is open, the core, that needs to be cleared 3 times as well, in between all of the teams. So you can have 1 team do it twice and the other do it once, or if you have 3 teams, every team just beats it once. Doing all of these things will give you contribution. Contribution is gotten for doing damage, not dying, that kind of stuff. And then the more contribution you get, the better the rewards will be. And then you get a little box, and if you're lucky, then you get a trigger like this. These are the main things that you're going to be after for doing the raid. Of course, you still get stuff like materials for the Transcendence and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's going to be mainly the triggers when you're looking at equipment, because all of the other stuff when it comes to Transcendence can be gotten from the side bosses. If you're low on Transcendental Dust, it's also a good idea to go back to Purification and do Purification a little bit, because I think I'm actually starting to run out on my Transcendental Dust a little bit, if I can even find it. Yeah, I only have 250 left, so I'm starting to run dry. I need to probably go and do a little bit of Purification again. So that's pretty much it for me. New raid is pretty fun. It is a little bit annoying that you do need to have 12 people, or at least have like maybe a group of 8 or something to go do it. Of course there is automated search function, but I think the reconnecting, if you disconnect, is broken at the moment, which is really annoying because that really fucked up day 1 raiding. But for the most part, I think it's really good. It's cool that if you don't want to do the raid itself, you can still get your modules and your core enhanced by just doing the sides by yourself. But if you do want to speed it up and you want to get those triggers, then you can go and hop into the raid as well, because I think the raid is really cool. Veins is really unique, where you have to like jump across all those platforms and that kind of stuff. Hand is kind of okay, but a little bit boring. And then the B is really cool, the back, where you have to position yourself underneath the boss so that you can like KO them and then do a bunch of damage, because if you don't KO her, she does a rate-wide damaging attack, which will kill everyone if you don't perfect dodge it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't really have a raid guide out for like how the bosses work, because the bosses are relatively simple, and you can figure it out after like doing it once or twice, so it's not too bad. That's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something new. If you still have any more questions regarding the content, feel free to ask them in the comments or on my Discord channel, because I usually hang out over there as well. And yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one.